What does a typical Sunday morning marriage class look like at Dream City? There's some teaching, probably some donuts. Oh yeah, and don't forget about the wedding. Today I have with me the co-director of Dream Marriage, Franklin Saneghetti. Hi Franklin, I'm so glad you're here.
Glad to be here, Aubrey.
Well, you and Lisa run the Dream Marriage class on Sundays.
Yes, indeed.
And I know that something amazing happened just a couple weeks ago. How did the idea of having a wedding in class begin?
Isn't that great? It's a marriage class, and why not have a wedding in a marriage class? But here's how it began. Of course, we do premarital counseling for all of those who are considering marriage. And why? Because it reduces the probability of divorce by 30%. So this couple was going through our premarital training with one of our certified premarital counselors. And they had decided they just wanted to do a simple wedding and to go maybe to the courthouse and get married. But our counselor says, you need to make it more special than that. Why don't we see if we can get you the prayer pavilion? That's where we have our class. And of course, they couldn't afford that. And so we came up with the idea, why don't we just have it during our class? And so that's what we did.
And I know the day of the wedding, there were a couple of surprises, but tell me, how did that day look?
Well, we of course did our lesson, which was the first part of the class. Interesting, I think, is the title of that lesson was Your Love Walk. And so what better love walk could you have as coming down the aisle as a bride? But so we had our lesson, and then we ended that, and then we had the wedding then.
And so what did the class do? I know that the class really supported and made it awesome for them.
Yeah, some of them knew, but very few. And many of them, when I said, we're going to have a wedding, there was just this excitement and applause. And of course, I thought they would be casually dressed since it was a casual environment, but the bride came in with a bouquet, a wedding dress. It was so special.
How was the couple? Were they so excited? They feel so loved? What was that like for them?
So much. So much love for them that day. They had no idea. And they, of course, had their family there who was overwhelmed by the love that our class gave them. And one of the things that I really loved about it was the father of the groom was a pastor. And he was there, and he went through our class, and he said, this is such a strong class. And he was telling his son and, of course, his new daughter-in-law, you need to stay in this class. But it was a wonderful time of them coming down the aisle, smiling. Of course, as soon as she got up there, she began crying, as many brides do as you go through the vows.
Yes, and you got to officiate the wedding.
I did, which is one of my favorite things as a minister to do. I do all types of things, but the weddings is my favorite.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what is the goal of these marriage classes, and what kind of fruit have you seen come from it?
Well, we want to strengthen marriages through regular discipleship. And so many couples, let's put it this way, they don't really prepare for marriage in a sense of studying and looking at each other's habits, their families of origin, what your dynamics as a person. I say it this way, we study more to get our driver's license than we do to get married.
Yes.
So this class is meant to strengthen marriages, to give them tools that they can use to increase their relationship, their love for one another, how to deal with conflict, how to deal with situations with children. All of that is in this class. Very practical, yet it's all scripturally rooted and founded on the Word of God.
Absolutely. So what would you say the importance of having a community of other married people around you? I know when I got married, I didn't hang out with other married people, and that probably would have been very essential in our early forming years. Now we have an amazing community thanks to Dream Marriage, but what would you say to people who are looking for a community of married people and the importance of it?
Well, always when you come together, there's always strength. but there's always experiences that you can share with one another. And so in the class we have a community, of course, but within the class we have other communities. For instance, we have the young marrieds community. And these are young marrieds with even those with children who are just having children, and they're trying to figure life out when they can't get sleep the first week or the second week or the third week. What do you do? And those kind of questions come up. Then we also have, for instance, separate classes where leaders will just take the ladies. They took them Respectfully Yours, which is a great class on how to have a lady respect her husband, as an example. And so we have all these mini communities. So what it does is it strengthens all aspects of your marital relationship. And that's so important. So you not only have the discipleship, but then you have the community where you can come together and learn together.
So how did you and Lisa get the heart for marriages and married people? Where does this come from?
You know, it's a good question, because I have been ministering with men for 3 decades, and Lisa has been writing curriculum for women for over a decade. And so on each side, we would see the challenges that each would have in marriage. And we said, well, if we could do this or tell them that, or we could solve that problem this way. And so it just seemed natural to come together and say, okay, let's talk about marriage now, since we had the grounding in ministering to men and ministering to women.
So what would be the process if somebody comes in to your ministry? Number one, engaged. What is the process from engage all the way up? Is there a way that you travel them through that process?
Sure. First of all, they come in engaged. So we're going to say, let's take you through premarital training. That's an assessment that we use called SYMBIS, Save Your Marriage Before It Starts. And it's a wonderful 50-category review of you and your spouse and how you're going to come together and how you're going to live together. What are your areas of conflict? How do you resolve those? So we take them through that, and sometimes it's as many as 40 hours of counseling. So that prepares them for marriage. Then once they get married, they're in the class, and we also then have marriage mentors. And so as they begin to walk through their marriage, they hit roadblocks or things that they can't resolve themselves, or difficulty in finances, or in communication, or in relationships outside, such as in-laws, influence on the marriage. We have marriage mentors that help them walk through those issues. And then, of course, the third thing is just being in that community. And so it just helps them in all aspects of their life.
So if someone wants to get involved in their marriage and family ministries, where do they go?
Well, the best place to start is our website, which is dreamcitychurch.us/marriage and family. And on that page, you'll see all aspects of premarital, marriage mentors, etc. And so go there, get the information, and become part of our class.
Well, you heard it yourself. There are so many different categories in dream marriage that you can be a part of, whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you're dating. There's something for you. So go to dreamcitychurch.us/marriage and family.